So my name is Iris. I'm from Croatia. I've been living in Mexico for the last 7 years.
Really? It's been 7 years.
It's been almost 7 years that passed by like in a blink.
I bet.
Like I only came here for 1 year, supposedly to work in design. But then I fell in love with the country, the people, the food, and I got trapped here.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's really nice. And I'm a designer, graphic designer. Love doing creative work with people. Love working with people.
Mm-hmm.
Really passionate about the interaction and everything that comes out there.
Uh-huh.
And I've been in this small town, building a life, learning, sharing, surfing.
Sounds like a pretty good life.
It is. It is. It was a whole process though, because moving from cities to small towns, I thought it would be easy, like what's harder than living in a big city? But no, living in a small town.
What's been hard about living in a small town? From moving from like Mexico City to Los Marcos.
Well, Mexico City is so fascinating, and you have everything there. It was just realizing that in cities we are so we rely on the external stimuli.
Okay.
So, like you can find anything you want, and you can get inspired constantly, and you don't have to have these empty spaces or boring moments.
Okay.
You fill out the boredom. You avoid boredom, and that can also mean like not feeling lonely. You just go out, and there's people everywhere. There's events. There's museums, and in a small town. Wow, it's also not like you don't just go out and it's a whole process until you meet people, until you learn about the culture. It's a different culture of the same country also. Different, I find it like different Mexican. So that was a very interesting learning process to not fight the boredom, the quiet, and just the empty space.
Yeah.
And not trying to fill it up constantly. As a young person, like you don't realize how dependent you are on that stuff. The simplicity can be really scary in the beginning, I think.
Simplicity of living in a small town or away from the external stimuli.
Certainly, yeah.
I've never thought about that.
For me, it was. I'm sure some people are are different types just. And then also, the challenge in a small town is you have to come up with your own events.
Yeah.
Right? When I say an event, I even mean just like a hangout, or if there's nothing happening, what do you do, right?
Yeah. Dinner with a friend, like you have to make plans for it.
Dinner with a friend, yeah. Or exactly, or organize something.
Yeah.
So you can't just expect that the environment will give you everything and you are only existing. So that's been a whole process, but a really cool one. After a few years, you're like, like you need less, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I've definitely noticed that. Like Mexico City was overwhelming to me because I love like a simple life. Like I like knowing who's going to serve me coffee. If I go to Waterman, like I know I'm going to see Ernesto, or like when I was first here for my first time here, like I was at Waterman almost every day because it provided a sense of comfort.
For sure.
I was living over here or wherever, and I was like, oh, I know I'm going to see Iris. I know I'm going to see Ernesto.
Yeah.
It's like that stupid, dessert that I got for Christmas. And I have a picture of you and Ernesto holding it. And I left like 4 days later. That was one of the last pictures I took in Los Marcos before I left.
The strudel.
Yeah, the strudel.
Which was a Croatian Balkan version of this.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
But you guys provided that sense of community, that we find in different places, for sure. So.
Yeah, that's nice in smaller places, right? You're not just a number.
Yeah.
You're not just one of the faces.
Yeah. But
which also creates accountability, I've realized.
Yeah, you can't behave shitty in a small town. Like I couldn't imagine dating here if I was single. And in my
Jesus
30s or
Christ.
my 30s and dating, being like, you know, like
Yeah,
I see
there's no
Times and
secret.
Claudia and Jose Carlos, and I'm like, God, like you act shitty to one person, everybody, or you get too drunk and make an idiot of yourself at the bar.
Absolutely.
Everybody in town's gonna know about it by Monday.
Yes, exactly. And that makes you more aware of what you do, obviously, and who you spend time with also. Sometimes you don't know someone's past and you're hanging out with people, but then, yeah, definitely. And also, like, sometimes life gets hectic, there's a lot of work you're doing, and you don't see a text or you don't text on time, you're gonna see the person in the street.
Yeah.
It's not like in a city, you're like, oh, I couldn't text you. Now, here it's like, what are you gonna say? You have to be, on top of your stuff.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And that for me, it was whoa. But it's really nice. And so, what would I say to my younger self? Many
I mean,
things.
you're 31 now. You've been in Loda Marcos for 7 years. Like when you were living in Mexico City or living in Croatia, like if you can tell yourself, hey, in 10 years or in 5 years or in 7 years, this is what, this is what, this is a lesson that maybe, or, you should have learned or you will learn or, about love or about work or, anything,
Okay.
whatever it could be. That's why I kept the questions really open. I think people have, I mean, I'm not doing a business thing. I'm not doing fitness or health. It's like people have stories, and I think they're all beautiful.
Well, I left home when I was 17, and life was like so much harder then than it is now. In terms of just you're younger and you are responsible for yourself, you're still going to high school, people are trying to help you. It was kind of a chaos. And but I did kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. So what I would tell myself at the time would be just keep on walking, and eventually when you can stop and rest, don't hide your light, because
Ooh, don't hide your light. Okay.
by hiding your light you're actually not letting others see you.
And how did you hide your light when you were younger?
I would stay in my circle. I have like a long-term friends. We're friends for 20 years.
So
Yes, and it can feel scary and overwhelming to think about purpose. So, well, when I talk about it with my friends,
absolutely.
like we've been talking about or mentioning this like in our much younger phases, and because it seems like you, it can be scary because it can feel like, well, I have to do this big thing on earth, otherwise why am I here for, and how am I going to do it? What is it anyways that I want to do? But it's in, I think, small ways that we impact others and that we can help others. And if that can even just be by living our truth and being a good friend, trying to be a functioning human in this world that is sometimes making us feel like we're wrong or like we're always lacking or that we are missing something, or that we're just not there yet because we missed the car, we missed the, or there's always a better thing you can buy or a better city you can live in or a better person. Or I feel like that's really making people feel overwhelmed and sick, and that so that there's this whole awakening that I feel is happening nowadays because of our exposure to information. Of we don't trust the media as much.
No.
We definitely don't already know that the social media is fake.
Yeah.
But we have all the information, and we can then analyze it in our own mind at home or with a friend or with a partner, and be like, yeah, but is that true that we saw there? Right? And then make our choices, and how do we want to live, and how do we not fall in the trap of following what just any society wants us to follow. And it's a whole process, and I can't really claim that I'm free from that either, you know, at all.
No, absolutely.
I fall into it, I make mistakes, and I buy into it, and I buy things, and I use social media, but then I remind myself, wait, like, I'm not just this body, this dress, or my job, and yeah.
No, it was funny. I was in the market in San Pancho. I was walking out of the restrooms there. Someone had written "Se amable" on the wall in chalk, and I was like, and it had a little heart next to it, and you know, and it was like, oh, be kind, you know. And I shared that. I have this little quotes site on Instagram that I shared, that I post up stuff, and I found this quote from Henry James. It's 3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind, and the third is to be kind. You know, I was like, oh, you know, so, you know,
Wow.
And the heart tattoo is a whole different story, but, you know, I love that. I was like, just be kind. You know, maybe that is our service.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
You know, say hello to somebody. Just be kind. You know, be kind to an animal. Be kind to somebody who can do nothing. You know, true measure of a person is, you know, how do they treat somebody who can do nothing for them?
Exactly.
You know, like,
Wow.
you know, it's not the person. Yeah, it's not the person making our drink. It's not the person serving our food. It's, you know, maybe it is.
Right.
You know, but, you know, how are we, you know, kind to the person that we, you know, that can literally do nothing for us.
Exactly.
You know, whether it's a simple buen dia, you know, to on the street, or, you know, who
Yeah.
knows? It could be any 1,000 ways. But, you know,
And how do can we recognize that they are also, can we recognize their humanity, right? And
well, yeah,
can we recognize that they have their own dreams, struggles, right? Like,
well, that was why I started this whole thing. I realized that, you know, like, no way I could ask everybody their story, but, you know, it's like, what if I could? You know, I have this whole idea. We have this little farmer's market in my town in Abiquiu in New Mexico, and it's this very small farmer's market, and I'm going to set up a little table, you know, and print out a sign, and I'm going to put the questions down, and Molly made the suggestion that I even put the time limit, you know. Oh,
yes,
you know,
yes.
it's 5 or 10 minutes, and we have a little timer, you know.
Like a speed day, right?
Yeah.
That's
But
perfect, yeah.
I'm going to put up, you know, buy a little table and get a couple chairs and be like, hey, you know, here's the questions. Tell me your story. You know, like, who knows what would happen with it, but
Exactly,
you
yeah.
know, everybody's got a story.
Everybody, for sure.
You know, I wish I could, you know, yeah, I don't even know where to begin with that one, but, you know.
Wow, I think that's a very cool idea.
You know, can we ask everybody? No. You know, am I asking everybody? No. You know, I'm asking the people that, you know, but this is simply my perception, and it can be completely broken compared to somebody else's idea. But
Yeah.
maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But
I think it's a fabulous idea. I think you should, I'm so glad you're doing it.
thank you. Well, thank you for being my second willing participant.
You're very welcome.
I very much appreciate
Pleasure.
it. Absolutely. Thank you.
You brought a lot of light to this town.
Thank you very much.
I think everyone that's met you notices your kindness, especially your kindness, you know?
Thank you.
It's not what you say or how much you tip or whatever, like when I was working at the restaurant. It's more like your personality, and you learn people's names and you say hi to everyone.
Yeah.
You ask a question.
It's God, you know, like
It's
doing
really
this alone would
noticeable.
suck. Doing this whole journey alone, you know. No, thank you. You know, and yeah.
Right?
How do we carry something different into the world?
Exactly. And also by reminding ourselves, because I think the questions and the answers, everything's inside, kind of.
Yeah,
But we just forgot.
yeah, absolutely.
We forgot this stuff and why we're here, or or that we're not here just to maybe get the thing. You go to a cafe and you get the give me my breakfast and now because I'm hungry, right? And how much is it? And that's it, right? And yeah, we forgot. Wait a minute, there's an opportunity even there, right? Maybe.
Yeah. No, and that's where the opportunities happen. Absolutely.
Yes, and the faster life is, the less opportunities, the less time to realize that and to do that. That's why I really, really, really liked living in cities, cool cities like Mexico City, Amsterdam, and then Zagreb. But Zagreb is not fast. It's really nice and chill. Amsterdam is kind of fast. No, not really. Still, but the bikes are fast. But you know, the less time, the less impact you do on anyone else, or because it keeps you in a hamster wheel. Yeah, and I kind of knew that. We all kind of heard that. Like, I think you hear, yeah, we're living in a hamster wheel in the city. Yeah. That's so bad. That's so tough. But no. It's once you remove yourself from something that you get the perspective. It's crazy. You realize, wow, this. They say that for some people, what can help in their depression is the small, seemingly irrelevant conversations in the day with your mailman, with the person in a cafe, the barista, in COVID. That was what people realized. People lost even that, right?
Yeah. No, people found other ways to connect with people on Zoom, and it was hard. It was hard. It's hard not to have those daily, and I think that's why people go places that are familiar, when Elizabeth is here, like, we don't have conversation, but, like, I know that I know her. I was like, oh.
Is it Elizabeth that rescues dogs?
I don't know.
Blonde.
No, the Elizabeth you're talking about, yes, that rescues dogs.